Hello there, everyone, and welcome to GamePoints episode 166. Your weekly Get Together, we talk about recent gaming news. I'm, as always, your host, Stephen Brown, and joining me today is...
I'm David, and it's Tuesday.
It is Tuesday, yes. I had some GDC things to take care of yesterday, not actually at the conference, but for a couple of indie game parties that they had. Well, I got to see a bunch of indie games yesterday. It was pretty nice. I might talk about those later on. Don't know yet. And yes, Vince Nitro, thank you for showing up. I know it's not your birthday, but hey, I am still jazzed to have you here, as with the rest of you too. Of course, this is an audience interactive podcast, so feel free to jump into any topic you want to talk about as we're going through. Try to just keep it kind of topical with what we're going through. If you're watching us later on YouTube at youtube.com/GamePointsPC, feel free to comment down below. And of course, regardless of where you view, if you want to support the show anyway, feel free to like, follow, throw bits at, subscriptions. If you're sitting on that Amazon Prime or Twitch Prime sub account, you know where to use it. But if not here, use it somewhere. It does go to waste if you don't do so. David.
Yes.
What have you been up to over the past weekend?
So, it's actually kind of funny because I haven't done anything.
That is perfectly valid, I assure you.
Well, I had some family in town, and I did that, but we'll get to it later. And I feel like there's a reason for this, but I have been completely disinterested in all video games for about a week and a half, maybe 2 weeks.
Okay.
But I feel like that problem will soon be addressed, and I also think the fix is why I've been so upset. But we'll talk about that a little later.
All right. I'm kind of intrigued at what you're getting at, but I guess we'll find out as we go on with the show. And since we're already here, let's go ahead and jump into the very first news item this week, arguably the biggest thing that's going on. Earlier today,
Stadia.
Yep, exactly. Earlier today, Google had their big games conference at GDC, revealing their new thing that they're doing to get into gaming, and it's called
Cloud
Google
Gaming Service.
Stadia. Now, if you remember, David, a couple months ago, they tried this project. What were they calling it? Project Cloud, Project Stream, Project Stream. Thank you.
I'm acutely aware of Google's Project Stream.
Yes, everyone has their own streaming project going around, and this was that thing where you can log in and play Assassin's Creed Odyssey for a little bit, and it ran pretty smooth. Now, you got into that for a bit, right, David?
I got into that for its entirety, and I played the shit out of Assassin's Creed Odyssey only on Project Stream, and found out later, trying to download that game, that my computer can't even run that bitch.
So you were able to play it better by streaming it than your actual computer was able to handle it.
100%. Because I mentioned when I was playing that, and I was very excited. I'm like, oh, there's this whole Google thing. It seems pretty cool. It seems pretty stable. I've been playing it. I've been sticking near 60 FPS. Sometimes the resolution drops, but it doesn't bother me too much. I didn't have too many issues. Every once in a while, there'd be like a major event, and the quality would diminish. But by and large, it looked way, way better than what my computer can actually throw at that game. Because one of the bonuses that happened with being in Project Stream is if you were in the project and you played the game for over an hour, at the end of the whole event, which happened a month or two ago, Google just gave me a copy of the game for Origin.
And you just can't play it, though, because it's so intense.
I own it. They said, thanks for
they gave it
being
to you
a beta tester.
Wait, real quick, just a small correction. You said they gave it to you for Origin?
No. What's whoever makes it, the Ubisoft thing.
Uplay.
Okay,
I just wanted to make sure. I don't want people writing in.
They're all the same to me, and yes, you can get mad at me in the comments later. If it's not Steam, I don't remember the name of it.
Fair, yeah, I mean, I'm kind of in the same boat.
But yeah, they gave me a free copy, and my computer runs that game very, very poorly, and it's hilarious.
So, long story short...
I'm actually more excited about Project Stream retroactively than I was while I was playing it.
Okay, so long story short, it was pretty much a good success for you. It worked very well, it worked as advertised, and you had a really good experience with it.
I had an absolute fantastic experience with Project Stream right up until the moment where my internet bill came and I went over my data cap. That's motherfucker.
That's something we'll touch on as we get further down into the story here. So, Google gave this hour-long presentation. The link, by the way, is provided down below if you want to click and watch through it all. You can kind of skim through it or find some stuff up. It's really boring. It's definitely a Google tech presentation. But they mentioned a couple things I want to bring up here. So, for those who don't know, Project Stream is essentially Google's streaming service. You go to a web browser and you can stream any game. that has subscribed to their service. Not any game overall, but as long as you have the agreement with Google, you can stream their game on any device, it seems. That's what they're shooting for. During the demonstration, they showed it being played on a desktop, a laptop, a TV, a tablet, a phone, and none of it was connected to a box. It was all through Wi-Fi.
Mm-hmm.
So definitely cool. Now, how Assassin's Creed Origins is going to control on a phone, well, that's up to you to figure out. But the fact is, it can technically be done. Yeah, there you go. A couple cool things I saw. They're really integrating it with YouTube. So, for example, let's say you're watching a trailer for a game on YouTube, and at the end they have all those annotations and shit. It's like, click here for the next video, or click here to go to the next thing. Some videos will have like this Play It Now button on there, and you'll be able to click on that Play It Now, and they're claiming that within 5 seconds, your game will be up and running.
I believe that. If you're already in Chrome,
yes,
and there's a link to whatever, the direct stream service, you just click it and go. Because anytime I use Project Stream, I literally just had it saved as a bookmark on Chrome. So I just open Chrome or open a new tab, click the bookmark, and within probably 20 seconds, I was just in the game again.
And
it was quick.
Did you have to be in Chrome when you were playing this, or could you play it like on Firefox?
100% Chrome the entire
That's
time.
what I thought. And I'm not surprised by that. They didn't go out of their way to say it could be played on other browsers. And remember, if you're ever watching these conferences, they never mention stuff they think will hurt them publicly. So they didn't mention the browser that you have played because it's all going to be on Chrome, which is going to alienate like your Firefox users or your like 3IE users or your Opera users or whatever. So,
well, and it could potentially work on other things, but yes, you can fight me on this and say, oh, they should figure it out anyway. They have the ability, since they own Chrome, to build in whatever levels that they need to have the browser support to connect to their servers. I'm willing to bet that Mozilla and Microsoft and other people aren't going to just do a shit ton of legwork to make their browser work with a Google service.
Yes, correct.
Especially Microsoft when they're working on a competing.
Yeah, we'll get into more of that as it goes on later.
Good luck getting what's their new browser, Edge or whatever the hell that is. Whatever I used to download Chrome when I installed Windows 10.
You use the default one to download Chrome and get rid of it.
Yeah.
So they did show a demo of Assassin's Creed earlier, and they were doing some really cool stuff to it. It looked like it was running very well. They said they went out of their way to find like the lamest possible PC to run it on, and they were seamlessly jumping from demo unit to demo unit. So it would play it a little bit on like a MacBook, or not MacBook, whatever Google's version of their little pad is. Chromebook, thank you. And then he pauses it there and hops over to a phone, and it immediately picks up where he left off. And then he pauses it there and goes to like that little Google, almost NVIDIA looking thing. I can't remember, or not NVIDIA, Engage looking thing. I can't remember what they make either. Its name forgets me. And it runs perfectly there. And then they go to this TV, and it just picks up where the guy left off every single time. And the TV had nothing more than a Chromecast hooked to it.
Yeah, it literally was just playing on a Chromecast, which is pretty rad.
So there's some very cool shit that is going on here, and there's a lot of potential here.
It's like the Switch on crack. Because think of mine, like, oh, I got the Switch. I'm going to pick it up. I'm going to walk out the door with it. It's like, oh, I'm tired of sitting on my computer. Oh, my back's hurting. I'm going to move to the couch. And then just, boom, now you're doing that. Oh, I need to go somewhere. And then you switch to your, like,
it's what PlayStation wanted remote play to be.
Kind of, yeah.
They also showed off the Stadia controller. It looks like a smoothed down Xbox controller, in my opinion, clearly inspired by it.
It looks like any generic third-party Bluetooth wireless controller.
Connects via Wi-Fi to the Stadia servers. It comes with a YouTube button so you can upload footage right to it. Has a Google Assist button so you can get help with the game and likely order shit from Amazon, or not Amazon, online just in general. And it had the Konami code on back, because why the hell not?
That's cool. I'm down.
Couple things that did surprise me. One, they're offering to support 4K at 60 frames per second with HDR and surround sound, and they're targeting 8K and 120 FPS.
That's amazing. So Project Stream was limited, quote-unquote limited, to 1080p 60 FPS the whole time. So the fact that they're shooting for 4K and all this other fancy stuff is pretty rad, but now is a pretty damn good time to get into what my major gripe with Project Stream was.
Okay.
Internet data caps.
Yes.
Because that is a real thing that exists for a shit ton of internet users. Also, Vince brings up the other point. What kind of bandwidth are they projecting as a requirement? That is a good question. We don't know.
And remember, when a company gives a presentation and they don't give you answers, those answers are probably bad.
I believe when I first signed up to Project Stream, anytime I tried to connect to the service, it ran a quick, like the only delay between me pressing the button and me being in the game was it did a quick system check to make sure that I had sufficient internet connection to get into the game. And I think it was looking for at least like a 3 megabyte download speed, 3 or 4, I want to say, something like that. So not insane, but also still better than like the entire middle of the Americas.
Yeah.
You know,
if you're not living in a major city, or not even necessarily a major city, if you're not living in a city of any kind, if you're like in rural farmland and have to use like satellite or some shit, this isn't going to work for you. Which brings me up to what I want to bring up. None of this is really new. We've been fucking around with streaming technology for a while when it comes to games. Remember PlayStation Now, On Live, Gaikai, all that shit's existed for quite a while. Just none of it really had the Google name behind it. And Google themselves have a rather robust internet infrastructure. At least they did. I think they kind of abandoned the Google Fiber project, if I recall. Mm-hmm. Are they still even doing that?
No, because they weren't making any money.
Yeah, that's what I thought. They just got bored of it.
They were spending a ton of money to put it together, but they weren't actually making income off it. The Google's actually shutting down a whole ton of stuff nearby. They're getting rid of Inbox. They're getting rid of Google Plus. They're getting rid of other fun stuff.
So that's a concern, for sure. Google does shut things down when they get bored with it, or if it doesn't make any money real quick. And another concern is I just don't... We are better, and we are improving rapidly, but between America's internet infrastructure, which is already kind of fucked up at best, and somewhat controlled monopolistically between only a few of the big cable companies, because like if Comcast has a hold of your area, you're not getting AT&T in there. It's just not worth it for them. So it's a monopoly by lack of trying, as it were. They're the only game in town and no one else wants to go up to them. So sometimes that happens and you're beholden to them, and we all know how well Comcast or AT&T do if they're the only game in town, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's not good. The internet infrastructure itself isn't there. You have bandwidth caps in place everywhere now, because it used to they fucking snuck that shit in. If you noticed, no one really had a bandwidth cap for the longest time. Like, unless you were like on a college or military installation. And then a couple years ago, we started seeing these bandwidth caps popping in place. But hey, it's a terabyte. You're never going to hit it.
I can hit a terabyte in about 11 days.
Oh, I can hit it faster, but I stream a lot too.
Yeah. Well, and that's the big thing is uploading will kill a lot more than downloading.
Yep.
But the Project Stream, the entire time you're playing a video game, you're actively using a shit ton of internet.
Yes. And the
I
ISPs
really
are going to get overloaded, and you're going to see them charge more.
I really wish I had kept it, but I actually had ran a test on my router while I was playing the game to see what kind of draw it was taking, and I remember it being like decently significant, but not so high that I was like worried about it. I just wish I'd like saved a screenshot of it so I could see, like, compare it to my normal internet traffic.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. So the ISPs are going to handle this one of two ways. One, they're going to charge you, the customer, more. Or two, because we don't have net neutrality anymore, or at least that was repealed, or whatever it is. Either way, that's gone for the most part. They're going to charge Google more separately, and it's going to be beholden onto Google to increase their subscription price of whatever the service is going to be.
Oh, it's still going to hit the customer.
Yeah, but it's going to go by the way of Google. And I don't want to get into a net neutrality argument right now, because we can go back and forth on that for days.
Oh, no, I just meant that Google raised their prices, but you're still going to get hit with overages from your internet provider. Even if Google's paying a fee, that won't matter because you're still going to have a data cap. Yeah,
unless you pay for not having a data cap like I had to. And let me tell you, that is not fucking cheap.
Nope.
So, that is, especially if they hit 8K. Could you imagine how high your data's going to go if it has 8K video?
Yeah, that's insane.
Couple other small things. Full crossplay is being promised. Full cross-platform play is being promised. Whatever the hell that means, though, because there's no platform.
What are you talking about? It means it works with games that are in other services. Like, if you're playing X game, you're also going to be able to play with people that are playing it on Steam or Uplay or Origin or whatever else.
Well, that's not in Google's hands, though.
that's what they're aiming for. Well, because again, we've learned this from Epic. You can literally just flip a switch and that shit works.
Yeah.
So they can turn on everything on their end. So I'm willing to bet that most time out of the box in games that support it, it will be compatible with games on Xbox One that share servers,
Yes,
games
but
on Switch that share servers, games on PC that share servers, and probably not on PS4.
That's just it. I doubt they have those contracts in place, especially with Sony. So they're kind of promising something. It would have been more accurate for them to say, we are going to endeavor to have full crossplay. But they straight up said, we are promising full crossplay.
Well,
it's like, okay, good luck with that. Because that's that's one of those it takes two to dance scenarios. They need both parties on board for that. So they're kind of promising something that they can't 100% deliver just yet. But we'll see how that shakes out. It is going to be launching in 2019 in the United States, United Kingdom, Canada, and most of Europe. Who knows if it's going to be a slow, limited rollout or a full rollout, though. So just keep in mind, it could be staggered. You might not necessarily get it where you're at. No price and no subscription model has been given details yet.
And that's the biggest thing I'm waiting for. How much is that going to cost?
We'll see.
And then we need to see the game list, because that is what killed OnLive, and that's what's keeping a lot of the other streaming services back. Is if it doesn't have the games, no one's going to pay for it.
Exactly. And they're also not going to be the only game in town, because within the next couple months, now that they're the first ones to come out with their big guns, but you have Valve doing their Steam Link Anywhere thing going on. You have Microsoft with their Project Stream in the works, which is in probably...
Project X Cloud. But good try.
Oh, what's Project Stream then?
Project Stream is the thing we've been talking about this entire time.
Fuck. They're all the same. Project X Cloud, which in my opinion is going to tie in heavily with their new console. I have no insider information on that, but that's just... It would make sense, right?
Yeah.
And then whatever the hell Amazon's been working on for the past few months. Remember, Amazon has a game development studio. They've been doing something. What? I don't know. No clue whatsoever. But they are doing something. And you're going to see all of this rolled out, or at least given dates, before the end of the year. And I would wager within the next 5 months. So we'll definitely see. It is going to... We are at that time of a new technology. Well, new technology. Streaming's been around for a while. But we're at that point where we're just going to start seeing things coming real fast. And it's always exciting to live in that time, because you're going to see people trying to innovate over other people. You're going to see price cutting. You're going to see deals to try to get you to go to theirs rather than someone else's. It's that whole spirit of competition thing. Remember how me and TR were like that on that.
Mm-hmm.
So it's going to be really, really cool to see all this develop over time. All of that said, I think while the technology is here for it and they can make it work, I don't think America's internet structure is up for it at all.
Unless you live on a coast, and then maybe.
Coco for Tacos, thank you for showing up. Always appreciate it here. Vince Nitro says someone's going to make a proprietary VR game based on that tech that renders server side, and we can walk around in VR goggles like the early 90s imaginings for the future. So, about that. I did not see it myself, but apparently at GDC, there is a version of the Oculus Rift that someone was playing Beat Saber on that was not connected up to any computer at all and was completely wireless.
Yes, but I don't think it was the Oculus Rift. Wasn't it something else?
I'm not positive. I will fully admit I get confused on all the Google shit, or the VR shit, rather.
I just remember it specifically wasn't the Rift or the Vive. It was something else.
No, it was, shit. It was a spin-off of one of those, and I can't remember what it's called.
I don't know.
It was like the Oculus something else, but you're right. It wasn't the Rift.
Mm-hmm.
God damn it, what's it called?
Who cares?
The point is, it's a VR headset that has no wires, isn't connected to a PC, and it's like I don't know if it's streaming or what. I didn't read into details, but we are at that point, Vince Nitro, where we are going to have like the fucking Ready Player One goggles, and we're just walking around.
Well, yeah, and especially if you have that game controller that Google's going to have that connects to their streaming service, and all of a sudden you can play video games, and that thing's Wi-Fi, then just make the headset Wi-Fi.
And then I just take your wallet when you have all that shit around your head and your eyes.
I mean, ideally, I'm doing this in the privacy of my own home, and I'm not just walking around the city like a fucking jackass.
And no, Coco for Tacos, Beat Saber isn't all that demanding of the game. It's a proof of concept. If you can get it to work. It's also
remarkably popular, and Steam had to upgrade their like tracking capabilities on VR or something.
I'm not positive on that. I didn't read that story.
That was pretty great.
It's proof of concept, though, Coco Fatagos. If you can get it to work with Beat Saber, you can technically get it to work with anything. It's just a matter of scale at that point.
Mm-hmm.
So we are at that point where
I am both
this
excited
shit's
and
going to come. I am enchanted and terrified. We're at that point where it's going to accelerate quickly, real quick. And I cannot be more excited for it. David.
Yes.
It's enough Google talk. It's enough VR talk. Let's go ahead and roll into something new.
Let's talk about something brand new. Let's go to Microsoft and big stuff that they're going that you've never heard about ever before. The Master Chief Collection is coming to PC.
I'm legit excited for this.
That's cool.
I'm way excited for this.
It's coming to Xbox. Oh, no, that's a different thing. Sorry. I was going to say it's coming to Game Pass, but it's not coming to Game Pass. It's just a thing.
The Master Chief Collection is coming to the Microsoft Store and Steam, built specifically for the PC audience. Players will be able to experience the generation-defining campaigns and iconic multiplayer modes, many for the first time. The important takeaway from all that is it is coming to Steam. It is not a Microsoft Store exclusive. I am so jazzed for it.
That's the best part of all of this news. That's fantastic.
I kind of like the way they're doing it, too.
We rag on Steam recently, like a lot. It's still where most of my games live, and I hate opening other things.
Steam does a lot of good things. Steam does a lot of bad things. Nothing is above reproach unless it's System Shock, and even then I can say some shit. So, they are going to be doing a staggered release for this. Essentially, when the game is ready, they'll, like, for example, Master Chief Collection was Halo 1, 2, 3, 4, and for the PC, they're releasing Reach. Awesome. That wasn't on the original Master Chief Collection. But when one of those games get ready to put on PC, they're going to put it out. They're not going to wait for all of it to get done and put it all out at once. They're going to stagger release it, which I think is kind of cool. I'm into it. What do you think? Do you like that idea, or would you rather just have it all at once?
I feel like I'd rather just have it all at once, but then I understand that runs into the issue of you just kind of jump immediately towards your favorite one, and whatever is the most popular game is going to be the one that gets the most popular multiplayer server, and then it's going to slowly kill the other games.
Right.
It's the orange box syndrome.
I understand.
I just played Team Fortress.
Vince Nitro in Relations Team says it is the Netflix of games. It's the old kid of the block, and all these whippersnappers are cropping up with good but limited content. I would not consider Steam the Netflix of games. I would consider Steam the Blockbuster of digital content. Because the Netflix of games is whatever the hell Google and Microsoft and Amazon and all of them are working on. I press a button and I have it. With Steam, you still have to buy the game. You still have to download it. You still have to wait for
I feel like you're
updates.
Missing the core concept. Like, there's a shit ton of streaming services for video, and one of them's older than the others, and it might not be as good.
Okay,
or have
so
all the
we're
best
going with
features,
more of an age
but
thing.
It does
okay.
have a huge user base, and
fair enough.
You know, most people just keep using it because they're used to it.
Okay, yeah, that's part of it too. To be fair, okay,
which I totally get, and I'm 100% for that.
Couple more things, by the way. No price yet. I can't see it being more than $40. That's me personally. Xbox One and PC crossplay is not going to happen at launch. It will not happen at launch, but it is actively being investigated. It sounds like one of those things that they would love to have, and given Microsoft's friendliness toward crossplay lately, I think this is more of a tech issue than a marketing issue.
Now, see, that's what I want to see, a bunch of hardcore Halo kids that are playing on their Xbox getting completely dumpstered by PC players.
Just getting their asses whooped by people using a mouse and keyboard.
Although, with that, a couple, like, old-school pro Halo players recently streamed Apex Legends and were actually dominating people, and they were straight up playing Xbox controllers.
Hilarious.
On PC.
The goal is to eventually have an uncapped frame rate at 144 hertz. That is long... To break that down to people who know what that means, it means it's going to run really fucking smooth on the PC.
Yeah. It's going to look real nice.
Forge...
Also, fuck Halo 5.
Yeah, no plan to bring over Halo 5 at all. The game is too new, so I get why not. I would still like to see that released on PC eventually. It just might not be part of the Master Chief Collection. And Forge on Reach will not be ready at launch. Now, they did kind of, with that statement, leave it open to be added later. All this can be found on a Reddit AMA they did, which I will be posting the link down below to that as well. Coco for Tacos, back to the the stream projects, mentions that this could lead Sony and Microsoft to ditching consoles and making streaming devices.
That's like been our tinfoil hat call since a year and a half ago.
I don't think it's going to happen anytime soon. And by soon, I mean
not
before 5
100%,
years.
but we were talking about the possibility of Microsoft's next console, quote unquote, is actually just a streaming box as like a stopgap for
Right.
Another box.
I don't think that we're anywhere near the consoleless generation yet. I still
the
think
internet's not good enough. That's the
no,
biggest thing.
and I mean let's go global, right? In a lot of European and Japanese markets, you have big infrastructure, but don't forget you have all of like South America. The internet's not quite up to speed either. They're kind of on par with us, depending on where you go. But you have a bunch of areas that even outside the U.S. that just are not ready for 100% streamless yet. I mean, for Christ's sake, you still have physical newspapers.
Mm-hmm.
As long as we have physical newspapers, you'll have a physical console somewhere.
Yeah, and it's also a matter of resources. Like, Google's currently doing this and dumping money into it. Microsoft is kind of working on it. Sony, I don't think, has anything. But again, even though Sony would talk about being like the big deal in the console wars and all that because the PS4 is doing so well, their actual like company value is so much lower than both Microsoft and Google as full companies. Like, Microsoft has so much more R&D besides just Team Xbox.
Correct, because they do more. I mean, Sony does more than consoles too, but really the Sony console market, last time I checked, I could be wrong by now, but at least as of a couple years ago, the only thing that was making Sony any money was their console business. That could be different now. I admit my information on this one is old.
I'm just pretty sure both Microsoft and Google are valued at like $750 billion or $1 million or whatever.
I mean, I don't know those numbers off the top of my head.
Sony is like 50 or 60. Just like for comparison.
An order of magnitude.
Two of the companies are 3-digit
bigger.
numbers, and Sony is a 2-digit number. That I know.
Vince Nitro says Elon Musk has been going off the rails to distract from the fact that he's about to launch an internet satellite that will give the entire world 1 terabyte speed internet connections. I don't want to go off on an Elon Musk rant here, but I love that crazy son of a bitch. I love.
Hold on though, but
Hank Scorpio incarnate, because that's what he is. He is Hank Scorpio incarnate.
My worry is that he's not Hank Scorpio, and he's secretly Samuel Jackson's character from Kingsman.
From Kingsman.
And then he's going to give everybody free unlimited internet, but then it actually just turns on this thing that makes us all murder each other so that he can have less people on the planet. So
I mean, you've seen how nuts we're slowly going.
There's a chance.
That's a man who just wants to make the world cooler.
Yeah.
All right, David.
Yeah.
By the way, let us know what you think about the Halo Master Chief Collection coming to PC down below. I'm jazzed for it. I don't see why anyone would be upset about this, but hey, you might have someone get salty over it.
I'm not upset. I'm just not like, oh my god, I can't wait to play Halo again on my computer.
I'm sorry. Vince Nitro in chat says, hey, why is the Wi-Fi called World Color?
Shut up, it's free, dummy.
Oh, that's good. Okay. Only makes sense if you're watching us here live at Twitch TV, which you can do so every Monday, normally at 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, but we're doing it Tuesday for the next couple weeks. David, next topic before I go too far off the rails on here.
Man, let's talk about something that sounds really cool, because it's a compilation of games that are from a studio I used to.
Oh, on its face value, this is amazing. I just don't trust who's doing it. And this is somewhat breaking news, by the way. This was announced like 2 hours ago, if that.
Konami, as part of their 50th anniversary, are releasing an anniversary collection for PS4, Xbox One, Steam, and Nintendo Switch.
That's anniversary collections.
There are going to be... Man, just let me fucking talk. There's going to be multiple collections in this series. First one is the Arcade Edition, which is coming out next month for $20. It includes A Haunted Castle, Typhoon, Nemesis, Vulcan Venture, Life Force, Thundercross, Scramble, and Twinbee. Some of those games have American names like Castlevania, Gradius, and Salamander. Also coming out in early summer is the first Castlevania collection, which is Castlevania 3, Castlevania 2 Belmont's Revenge for Game Boy, not NES, Super Castlevania 4, which is still one of the best ones, and 4 mystery games.
Yes, and
I'm assuming it's going to be Game Boy Advance games.
you do highlight that says the first Castlevania collection. So that, of course, begs the question, where is the second one coming? We have no idea.
Is it going to be 3D Castlevanias?
Who knows? I can
Who
see,
knows?
so I can see them for this collection right here, putting in the other Simon's Quest, the first Game Boy Castlevania, and maybe Bloodlines, and what was the other? Dracula X. That'll take care of your 16-bit shit. On the second collection, which I can also imagine coming up later. And by the way, Coco, you have a good night. The second Castlevania collection would be all of your Game Boy Advance and DS games.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, this makes sense.
There's more Castlevanias that were on the handheld platforms, and a lot of them were decently good.
Yeah. I highly doubt we'll get a collection of Lords of Shadow, and Castlevania 64. And Lament of Innocence, the PlayStation 2 ones. Remember the 3D PlayStation 2 ones? I doubt we'll see those come back.
Those are the best ones. Those are the only Castlevanias that matter.
No, they're not. But there is one more.
I can't even get through that. Finally, we got us a Contra collection. Man, let's talk about that Super C, which is the Super Nintendo Contra game. Also
Incorrect.
Contra and Contra 3 and
it's not
Super
true.
Contra. What?
Super Contra's Nintendo. Okay, so here we go. Contra. The very first Contra was a Nintendo game. There was an arcade port called Super Contra. Super C is the sequel to Contra that was on NES. Now, the reason why it wasn't called Super Contra is because they didn't want to confuse it with the Super Contra that was in the arcades. Contra 3, the Alien War, was the first Super Nintendo one, and I believe
I feel
US
bad,
Super
but this
Nintendo
shit
launch
came
title.
out so long ago. I'm pretty sure this came out in 1992, so... Sorry.
Hey, no problem.
Also,
no
4
problem.
more mystery games.
So of those 4 more mystery games, let's see. You can have
How many of them are Metal Slug?
none of them. You have Contra Hardcore, which was on the Sega. You can put that on there. There was that Contra DS game, and then there was just straight up Contra 4. And you can have... Well, if the Castlevania one's having Castlevania
Operation
2...
C? What about Contra
say.
Force?
Or any one of those. Operation
Legacy
C.
War?
I don't
Soldier?
think Contra Force or... I don't think Shattered Soldier or Legacy War would be on there. I would sooner believe it was Contra 4, Hardcore, Operation C, which is the original Game Boy one, because they've already established they're willing to go back to the Game Boy with the Castlevania entries. And insert a third one here. His name's escaping me. Iran Contra, yep, where you play as Ronald Reagan, who proved that he's a bad enough dude to rescue Red Falcon. I'm fine with that. I like that.
Oh, man.
So, this chat's good tonight. That is coming, and both of those coming early summer as well.
There you go. Konami collections. The only problem is they're from Konami. The good news is that it's old Konami.
Yeah, Konami has amazing games, just bad management.
Yep.
All right, let's go ahead and
I can't forgive them to what they did to Metal Gear, though.
Yeah, well, we're going to move on from that. You will never see a Metal Gear collection again, by the way. I think that they want to forget that Hideo Kojima even exists.
I'm just saying their reputation did not survive.
No, it did not. I'm trying to make a segue here, and I can't.
I was making a Metal Gear Survive joke.
I know, but I was trying to tie it in with Evolve with the next story, and it just wasn't working. So
I didn't have time for that because we're going to talk about Turtle Rock. Do you remember Turtle Rock?
Yeah, they made Evolve.
Yeah. Turtle Rock put together this little game called Evolve, which is a 4v1 asymmetrical multiplayer game where you play as hunters and you fight this giant beast, and the other player is the giant beast. And it came out like before Dead by Daylight and Friday the 13th and those other asymmetrical games. And the demo for that game was fucking awesome. And I was so hyped to play it. And then it was monetized to shit, and that game was trash, died in the water, went free to play, and was promptly canceled.
Yes. Turtle Rock also made a little game called Left 4 Dead.
And that game was phenomenal.
Still is
fun.
fun.
I don't get how you go from one to the other.
Still is.
Left 4 Dead 2 is still
right
one of the greatest games of all time.
I agree. Still is amazing right now today. You can load up Left 4 Dead 1 or 2 and play it and still have a really fun time with a somewhat active player base. It's not like Game Busters, but you can find people playing it still. Anyways, why are we talking about Turtle Rock? Well, from a press release from Warner Brothers, Warner Brothers Interactive Entertainment and Turtle Rock Studios today announced Back 4 Blood. The creators and development team behind the critically acclaimed co-op phenomenon Left 4 Dead, Back 4 Blood is designed from the ground up as an original premium title that marries the best of what made the co-op zombie shooters so successful with new features and state-of-the-art technology. Long story short, Back 4 Blood is essentially Left 4 Dead 3. It is a spiritual successor to the franchise that has been
the title
long
screen or like the teaser thing looks fucking identical to the Left 4 Dead logo.
Yeah, they are absolutely leaning into the fact that this is Left 4 Dead. And one thing I want to point out is that this was announced to extremely little fanfare, which to me shows how hard this company has fallen from grace after Evolve. Because if Evolve didn't exist, could you imagine the buzz about holy shit, the guys who are making Left 4 Dead? Yeah.
Like they hadn't done anything this whole time.
Yeah.
They just hadn't made a game.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, holy shit, the Left 4 Dead 2 crew is making a new video game called Back 4 Blood, and it's a co-op horde zombie game.
Yeah. This would be screamed everywhere.
The biggest news of the week.
But Evolve fucked Turtle Rock so hard that they literally have to start back from zero to get that fan base back. And that's a goddamn shame, because I'm legitimately excited for this if it wasn't for Warner Brothers. And I think I will say this right now. I think Warner Brothers is one of the most vile, fucked up publishers out there. Just look at the shit they did for how glitched up some of the Arkham games were, and they just never fixed it. They went, fuck it.
Arkham Origins, I'm pretty sure, is still unplayable.
Yeah,
on PC.
For some people, definitely. Look at what happened with Shadow of War, as you mentioned it, where the entire fourth act is deliberately designed to be a grind fest, forced to make you to buy microtransactions, to the point where, when they took out the store, they actually had to adjust the end game of that game because
to make it playable.
Yes.
Yeah.
They are
the biggest thing
egregious when it comes to that shit.
Is yes, Back 4 Blood is going to have a campaign and player versus player and blah blah blah, it's survival-y stuff. Everyone's just gonna wait to see how they monetize it. If this game has loot boxes, it is dead in the fucking water.
Yeah, and it's Warner Brothers. It is going to have all the horrible excess of AAA gaming. It is just going to, flat out.
Yeah, it's gonna have different costumes for the characters. It's gonna have fucking special missions for the zombies. It's gonna have a battle pass. It's gonna have just every stupid thing
allegedly
that you can think of.
We are spitballing. This could be something amazing, but let's be honest here. Do we really think that Warner Brothers is going to do this? And on top of all of that, this is Turtle Rock, who made an excellent Left 4 Dead game, but we just got done bitching about how these killed Evolve as well. This is going... I see this being the second game they do in a row that microtransactions fucking kill, and then Turtle Rock just will not exist anymore. And that is fucking tragic, because there is a lot of talent at that studio.
I really hope that we're wrong.
Yes,
and that's part of the reason why we're going so hard, is so that we can be proven wrong and left deliriously happy that there's a new, not actually Left 4 Dead game, but totally a Left 4 Dead game.
Agreed. And Evolve had a lot of potential. Like, if Warner Brothers...
That game was amazing until I saw the pricing structure.
I am not going to prejudge this game. Let me rephrase that, because I am kind of prejudging it right now. I am going to go into this game expecting all the bullshit that I expect from Warner Brothers, but hoping that it's not there. Because sometimes a publisher will surprise you. Look at Apex Legends, for example. So we'll see how that shakes out. That is something to think about there, Vince Nitro, is that what if Back 4 Blood is released free? All of
they've
Fortnite
already said,
and Apex Legends.
They've already said that this game is going to be a full-price premium title.
Then if that is the case, they cannot have microtransactions in it at all. I will meet halfway and say they can put in like cosmetics. I know some people are very hardcore, no microtransactions at all. I am willing to accept cosmetics a la Overwatch. I personally am fine with that. Nope. Your mileage may vary. I totally get that.
Retroactively, if you go back to the podcast like 2 years ago, and I was like, I guess it's kind of okay. No, fuck Overwatch.
Yeah, you've gone hard on the none at all period stance.
If I gave you $60 for the game, get the fuck out of my wallet unless you give me enough content that I just give you more money. If you're like,
Totally
here's a
understand.
new campaign, here's a new stage, fine, take my $5, take my $10. That's cool. I'm fine with that. If you give me more stuff to do. If it's here's a blazer you can get for your character so that you look slightly different than the other characters, go fuck yourself.
Yeah, I know that you've swung
I'm just-
hard anti that.
I just get so mad about it.
But that's to be seen later. And we'll see how that shakes out. I mean, I've said it already. I look at Warner Brothers and I expect them to put every egregious video game practice into this game. I don't have any belief that they won't. However, I will hold out a bit of hope that I am pleasantly surprised. And we'll see how that shakes out. Let us know your thoughts on Back 4 Blood in the comments down below or here on Twitch TV. David.
Yeah.
Past few days, Randy Pitchford's been giving it the slow jerk on he's got some stuff coming up.
God, I'm so... Okay, don't get me wrong. Gearbox, Pitchford have done some cool shit. But I'm so fucking sick of hearing about Randy Pitchford just posting opaque, weird shit for like the last 2 or 3 years and then nothing happening. And everyone knows what the fuck's coming. Just say it.
It's time to shit or get off the pot.
Stop tweeting. Stop doing weird nonsense. Just say it.
Just fucking do it. So...
I'm over you, Randy Pitchford. I'm breaking up with you, internet-related wise.
over the past few days, the slow jerk has intensified. It's gone from like one beat every 5 minutes to like one stroke every minute, right? So something is coming. And it's probably Randy Pitchford. We have...
Aggressively.
We have a whole bunch of teases coming out from the Gearbox official account. The first one is a photo clearly in a Borderlands style that says March 28th in Boston, Massachusetts. That coincides with PAX East. Expect, in my opinion, Borderlands 3 or whatever the next Borderlands game to be announced is, but we've seen this song and dance from Pitchford before, where he kind of teases things. What was it?
Didn't we call Borderlands 3 at last E3 and last PAX and last literally every game show?
And that's because there's a history of Pitchford teasing shit before. Remember during the Game Awards, how he was like, "Oh, 3. I wonder what 3 could mean. 3. And everyone's like, "Oh shit, here it comes." It's like, no, he was just cashing in on the zeitgeist of the moment to hype people up for nothing that happened.
That's why I'm so mad at him. Like, okay, Borderlands was a highly successful video game. Borderlands 2 was also successful. Borderlands, the pre-sequel, was a slightly less successful game.
Right.
But people like Borderlands. It's been just long enough.
Hell, even Tales of the Borderlands.
And you haven't done anything recently. Just release.
Well, they have done
you're
stuff.
Making it.
Let's be fair, they've done stuff. Just stuff that's like, Aliens Colonial Marines, or the Bulletstorm Duke Nukem crossover, or Homeworld Deserts of Karak. Gearbox has produced stuff.
They have done stuff, but they also need to have been making a Borderlands game this entire time. And if they haven't, what are they even doing?
Right. No, I absolutely agree. But this is the most concrete news we've gotten in that. Like I said, you can go take a look. Links will be provided down below if you're on the YouTube page, by the way. Borderlands traffic sign says March 28th. Something is coming. But that's not the only thing that they're teasing there at Gearbox. You also have this tease of a photo of the main character from Bulletstorm and Duke Nukem together, so maybe some weird Bulletstorm Enhanced Edition, or it's coming to Switch or something. Actually, I think this has already been announced to be coming for Switch, so it could be release date for that, or it's already out. I don't know, but something with the Bulletstorm Duke Nukem crossover going on there. They're teasing that. There's what looks to be a weird-ass Borderlands card game that's getting teased. PAX actually would be a good place to announce that, by the way.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Because you have it playable on the floor.
You have this weird, like, table with a broken-down robot that's getting operated on. No goddamn idea what the hell that is. And then something I'm actually kind of excited for. They teased the logo of an ampersand with the bottom like, tenth of it cut off, which is the logo for Penn and Teller, who are two magicians. Now, Randy Pitchford is an amateur magician, and he is, from what I can tell, friends with both Penn and Teller. He has met them, he's talked with them, and Penn and Teller have done game shit before in the past. In fact, that whole desert bus thing? That's theirs. It was part of a canceled Sega CD game called Penn and Teller's Smoke and Mirrors, which was designed to be like a video game meant to fuck with your friends.
Yeah, which is why you could actually drive a bus from wherever to wherever, and it's like 20 hours of driving a bus on a straight highway.
There's a charity every year called Desert Bus for Charity or something like that, where people play Desert Bus for 48 hours straight or something like that, where it's just them in real time driving from, I think it's like Bakersville, California to someplace like Flagstaff, Arizona or something like that. And it's all in real time. And you can't cheat at it because it's rigged not to let you cheat. Yep. So Penn and Teller's done game stuff related stuff before. So I wonder what Gearbox is doing with them, like a Smoke and Mirrors 2 or something, or what? What's going on here?
Nobody knows.
But Gearbox is teasing a bunch of stuff to be happening at PAX East, which will be in a couple next week. Actually, I think now that I think about it, let me take a look. Yeah, next week. In fact, Thursday of next week is when we'll get
in
some of
Boston.
these announcements. David,
Yeah.
lead us off on our next topic.
Oh, dude, I totally called this. Remember how Sony's not having an E3 conference?
Correct.
And then we found out that I think EA is not having an E3 conference.
Correct.
I was like, great. So Microsoft's going to win because all they have to do is deal with Ubisoft, Square, and Bethesda, who is confirmed to be coming to E3 on Saturday, June 9th at 5:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Because, of course, they are. They're probably going to talk about Doom Eternal, because why not?
I'm calling it right now.
Wolfenstein-
Doom Eternal's release date will be announced, and it will be October 15th. Heard it here first. That's going to be one of my E3 predictions, even though our E3 predictions are going to be kind of lame this year because no one's holding the conference. But Doom Eternal will be October 15th.
Crazy. I'm going to have the best predictions.
Okay, we'll get to that as we get closer.
None of them will be true, but they're going to be great. You guys are going to love it.
Fair enough.
Wolfenstein Youngbloods hasn't been talked about in a minute, so that's probably the only thing they actually have to talk about.
You know, I actually forgot that game existed.
Yeah. They're going to mention that Starbound still exists. They might show a splash screen for Elder Scrolls 6, but there's no reason to because neither one of those games are coming out anytime soon.
But they have
they
to
just
talk
had
about them
to mention it
because they mentioned it last year.
No, they don't.
No. Once you mentioned it last year, they have to mention it, or else people are going to start fucking panicking because that is
it'll just
how
go
it
dark
is.
because it's not going to come out 14 years anyway because they made Fallout 76 and damn do they got to fix that game before I give a shit about anything Bethesda does.
I'll go ahead and make a second E3 prediction right now. Half of the Bethesda conference is going to be devoted to Fallout 76.
We are trying our best. Here is our year 2 timeline for Fallout 76.
And
here's Hats in the Wasteland Day.
Yeah.
You'll find hats all over the wasteland to dress up your character. There'll be a shooting competition, shoot off each other's hats. We added a new cannery where you could go can things, I guess. And here's a bunch of cosmetics and other shit you can buy with your atoms.
I'll make another prediction right now. Fallout 76 gets announced as going free to play.
That would make a ton of sense.
Yeah.
And
they will either devote half the conference to it or nothing and pretend it doesn't exist.
In which case it'll close almost immediately.
Yeah. They will lean way too far one way or another, but they will not mention it briefly and go, "Okay, we'll move on." And it's going to be interesting to see. That said, they're still making Doom Eternal, and that game is going to come out this year, and I am so excited for it. I'm so ready for it. Doom, if you recall, was my game of the year of 2016, I believe, the year it came out. Sure, 2016 or 2017, one of those two. And while we're talking Doom, let's mention this terrible, terrible trailer for the upcoming Doom Annihilation. Now,
dude, all movie titles that have Annihilation in them are good. Remember Mortal Kombat Annihilation?
To give you an idea,
Anderson or whatever the fuck your name is.
To give you an idea of how well received this trailer has been, it is currently sitting at 1,400 likes and 23,000 dislikes.
Okay, I am going to give you guys a really easy piece of advice if you're gonna make a Doom movie. The Doom guy, as he's known and lovingly known as, is a dude that wears a suit that punches and kills aliens. And the one thing he doesn't do is show his face constantly.
Yeah.
Remember when they made a Stallone movie of Judge Dredd, and that movie is first and foremost a Stallone movie and not a Judge Dredd movie? And then fairly recently, they made another Dredd movie that was leagues better than the original Dredd movie.
As an aside,
while the 90s movie was a fantastic Stallone movie, it was a shit Dredd movie. And don't get me wrong, I love that movie. It's just not a good Dredd movie. The new one, where he never takes the fucking helmet off, and you only see this little bottom part of his face, is amazing because you only see that little bottom part of his face, and he stays in character the whole goddamn time.
As an aside, Dredd, the Carl Urban movie, is bar none the best comic book adaptation to film I have ever seen. That does not mean that it's
pretty good.
That does not mean it is the best comic book movie ever. But when it comes to staying true to the actual character itself and to the world and the theme of the comics, that Dredd movie is the closest I've ever seen to a true adaptation.
Dude, but what about Ghost Rider with Nicolas Cage?
Dude, I forgot that was even a thing.
I know, I made you think about it. I win, I guess. Anyway,
you're thinking about it, and we're talking about it.
Literally, just put a fucking helmet on your main character and have them never take it off. And here's the thing. I don't care if the main character is male or female. That doesn't bother me even a little bit.
You shouldn't even know.
Put a fucking helmet on them.
Yeah,
That's
you
the
shouldn't
thing.
even know.
I don't want to know. Put generic armor on them so I can't tell. Put a helmet on them and just have them growl at things the whole time. Other characters can do whatever they want. They can die, they can wear clothes, they can have emotion. That's fun. But the person inhabiting the Doom guy persona needs to just be there to kick ass and take names.
Like, seriously, how can you fuck this up? You take someone, stick them in a green suit of armor, give them a big fucking gun, and lock them in a room with demons. That movie done. Basically. But they keep... Just take a look at this trailer. I want everyone to take a look at the trailer. The link will be provided down below. This looks like some Sharknado shit. It looks like straight to DVD sci-fi movie bad. And I don't mean sci-fi as John. I mean like cable channel sci-fi. Vince Nigel says, get Kane hotter with the chain gun. Yeah, Kane Harder, by the way, is the guy that has played Jason in all the recent Jason movies. Stands like 7 foot, God knows what. Yeah, just give him a chain gun and have him mow shit down. A Doom movie should be the simplest fucking thing to do. But
My favorite part is that the official Doom Twitter account actually had a tweet that said, we're not involved with the movie.
Yeah, Bethesda themselves have disowned them. The people who made Fallout 76 disowned.
This movie is direct to DVD. It looks like it's direct to DVD because it fucking is. It will not have a theatrical release.
So do you know why this movie exists? I can. They haven't said it, but I have a theory, and I'm pretty goddamn sure I'm right because I've seen this happen before.
I'll hear it because I honestly don't know why this exists at all.
Doom Annihilation exists.
Not in this form.
And keep in mind, this is just speculation, but I'm pretty fucking sure I'm right because way back when, the rights to make Doom movies were sold. And whenever you sell the rights to something, you never sell it forever. You sell it for X number of years. And those rights would usually expire if you don't use it on something. So the people that own the rights to the Doom movie went, oh shit, the Doom rights for us making movies are about to expire and return to the original holder. We have to shit something out so that way we can keep the rights.
That makes sense.
So this is what you get.
That's why Sony made Venom.
Is that why Sony made Venom? Is that really why they did that?
I mean, that's why Sony makes any comic book movies. Because they have to. That's why Spider-Man's been rebooted 3 times. Because they have to.
Fair enough.
That's also why we had those Fantastic Four movies. That's also why there's been so many X-Men movies. Because you have to.
But do the X-Men movies seem successful? I haven't seen one since 3.
They're all owned by Fox, but yeah, they had to keep making them so they didn't lose the rights to them. But remember when they just like switched it and here's a whole new storyline and all of a sudden everybody's young again?
Yeah, but they've actually tied that back into the Bryan Singer movies.
I know, and I don't have any problems with those movies. I'm just saying while the movies are a good idea and while they are successful, there's always going to be that thing in the back of the head of we need to think of a new damn movie. Whether or not that movie's good doesn't matter. They just need to think of a new damn movie.
Okay, I see what you're getting at. Okay. Either way, David, this movie, I mean, I can't wait to see it, right? It's going to be amazing. It's going to be truly, truly something to mock horrendously.
I won't
kinda
even know that this movie comes out unless you text me.
Yeah, I kind of want to
even
sit down
then-
and watch this just for the train wreck factor.
And even then, I'm just gonna block you and not pay attention.
Yeah, you probably should just do that anyways. I say nothing of value. The point, David, I'm trying to get at is, I do want to see it, but I'm not going to be able to see it anytime soon. It's got to have its big direct-to-DVD release, and then 6 hours later be put on Netflix.
Yeah.
And then a couple hours after that, get put on Amazon Prime. And not the Amazon Prime you have to pay for, the one that you get for free. That's going to take time for us to get to that point, though. So in the meantime, as I'm waiting with bated breath to watch Doom Annihilation, what can I play?
Oh, dude, video games. Did you ever play the game 2 Point Hospital?
No.
Oh, okay. Well, 2 Point Hospital is a slapstick sim hospital game that came out on PC about a year ago. And you play as this dude and you manage a hospital and you try and keep people alive, but it's kind of ridiculous because sometimes you put them in giant magnets or you electrocute them or you put them in therapy because their head got turned into a goldfish.
Jesus, okay.
That game is getting an expansion.
Okay.
called Pebberly Island, and it releases this week. So now, in addition to being the manager, it's like a sim hospital game, but super over the top ridiculous. So
Okay.
think Sims, but slapstick.
So it's like Doctor, my leg has been replaced with my dog, do something, kind of.
Yes.
Super surreal.
But now you're on a quest for a magical life-giving well because some like fantastically rich entrepreneur is having you build a hospital on an island. And
Okay.
There you go. Also coming out this week. Well, all right. Again, it's Tuesday. We're late. It's not Monday, so some of the shit's already out. So I apologize if you're already playing it. But whatever. Guess what? You can play one of the best games of 1998 on your Switch. Turok, released more or less as it was back in the day. I think it's like the slightly remastered edition that came out on PC 2 years ago. Turok is the first third-party game released on the Nintendo 64. I'm pretty sure. I
did not know that. I want to say that you're wrong.
I mean, feel free. It's audience interactive, man. You Google it while I'm talking. It's a 3D first-person shooter game that had the run and gun elements of Doom. It was a big deal when it came out. It had the exploration of Tomb Raider. It's got a central hub, and then you go into all these different portals to bring you to different stages in different eras. So you fight dinosaurs. Sometimes you fight dinosaurs with lasers strapped to their heads. You get a bunch of ridiculous guns. I remember thinking that Turok was totally rad when it came out. But the game sold like 1 million copies, and I have no idea who's buying this.
I never liked Turok, by the way.
I could be completely wrong, and this could be fantastic, and people fucking love Turok.
I know people love Turok.
I just don't know
I
why
always hated it,
I
though.
would pay any attention to a re-release of Turok in 2019 on my Switch. But
so I have
there's
to
a shit ton of remasters coming out. Now is the time for remasters. So if you are a Turok fan, you are in luck.
So Turok Dinosaur Hunter came out in 1997.
I was off by a year.
You were off by a year.
Wrong.
In 96, other third-party games that came out. A good one, Star Wars Shadow of the Empire. Remember that? That was a real good one. You also had like your Wayne Gretzky hockey, Mortal Kombat Trilogy, Mahjong Master didn't come to America though, so that doesn't count. International Superstar Soccer from Konami, Cruis'n USA from Midway. Midway actually supported the Nintendo 64 pretty hard. Blast Core from Rare, back before Rare got gobbled up.
Shit!
If you want like a big, name, that came out in March. When did Turok come out? Turok video game. I didn't realize Turok was actual comic before it was a video game. Hey, Turok also came out in March. Technically, Turok beat Blast Core by like a week, but there were other third-party video games, just not many. So you were close.
Well then maybe it was just the first Acclaim game on N64. It was the first something on N64. I don't know. I'm not in charge of new releases.
It was definitely the... God damn it. It was definitely the first Turok game on Nintendo 64.
Perfect. All right. Anyway, that game's out. You guys can play it if you want.
And like I said,
coming out this week.
Go ahead.
I'm just done.
Let's move on. Let's just move on.
On PS4, one of my favorite Switch games from last year, you can now play The Messenger.
It's damn good. Real good.
Yeah. It's real good. I got you to play it eventually.
Yes.
And then you got farther than me because I stopped playing it, and then I got mad, and then we both beat it. And that's about where we are. I won't rebuy it on PS4 because I have no reason to. I can
Yeah, I
already play it
don't
on my
need to
TV,
either.
and more importantly, I can play it on the go. I don't think I need to play it that much because I'm not a speedrunner. But I think that game is super rad. It starts out as an old school Ninja Gaiden style side scroller. It's decently difficult and it has a rad 8-bit soundtrack. At some point in time, I'm going to spoil it because it's been a fucking year. You travel through time,
Oh, well.
and the whole game goes 16-bit with rad music and upgraded graphics.
That's in a trailer. That's not a spoiler. That's in the goddamn trailer for the game.
I know. And I'm aware of the fact that there's more spoilers, but we don't need to talk about them because this game's fucking rad and you should play it.
Which is why I thought you were going to go with it. And I was like,
no.
Let's not be that much.
We don't need to go into the part where it goes from a good game to a great game.
Yeah.
But it does go from a good game to a great game. That happens. Also coming out this week, oh my fucking god. America Ninja Warrior Challenge for PS4, Xbox One, and Switch.
I didn't even know American Ninja Warrior is still a thing.
Fucking terrible. God awful. Maybe American Ninja Warrior is your favorite thing in the whole goddamn world, but this looks like the most generic cash grab video game I've ever seen in my entire life.
All right, I gotta take a look at this.
You make characters, you make levels, and then you pretend to be a person going through an American Ninja Warrior challenge, which just... It's so opposite the entire mentality of American Ninja Warrior that I'm like a little offended. It's like if they made a video game about jogging. I don't get it, but this is a game put together by the fine folks over at Game Mill, and that's about all I need to know about it.
This shit looks like a PlayStation 2 game.
I know, dude. It looks like fucking garbage. But yeah, the company.
Wow.
Like I said, the company that made it's called Game Mill. What do you really expect? Also coming out this week, we have War Theater for PS4 and PS Vita. Also, if you work at Game Mill and you're super proud of this, I'm not trying to bag on you. I'm just saying whoever was specifically in charge of making this game, I don't know why you did. Maybe you just fucking love American Ninja Warrior, but I don't think that's why.
This looks like a fucking mobile game that was ported to PlayStation 2. It is.
To be fair, there's a shit ton of mobile games that were ported to Switch, so it's not that weird.
Fair enough.
War Theater comes out this week for PS4, Vita, and I believe Steam. It's a turn-based strategy game with RPG elements. This looks like a lot of other strategy, RPG, tactics style games. That kind of top-down isometric view where you control different characters and you fight bad guys. There's 7 different heroes that have different specializations that changes the battle. So you actually play through a single-player campaign with different heroes. It's got multiplayer, local, online, all that other fun stuff. If you really need a new strategy RPG, there you go, War Theater. SNK's 40th Anniversary Collection is coming out on PS4. This came out on Switch a while ago. This thing's fucking awesome.
Yeah,
we'll
it
talk
is.
About it.
This is good.
It's from the same crew. What is their name? Digital Legacy, I want to say, that did the Street Fighter 30th Anniversary. They're also
Digital Eclipse.
Maybe that's it. They're also the teams that put together the Mega Man Legacy collection games. SNK 40th Anniversary is kind of worth it because it's some of the best SNK games from back in the day. The base game, I don't know if this comes with all the DLC, but all the DLC was free in the first place, so there you go. But it's got Alpha Mission, Athena, Crystallis, Guerrilla Wars, Akari Warriors, POW, Prehistoric Isle, Cycle Soldier, Street Smart, TNK3, Vanguard, Munch Mobile, Chopper 1, Fantasy Time Soldiers, Sasuke vs. Commander, Beastbusters, and Search and Rescue.
All right. Crystallis, by the way, an amazing Nintendo RPG. I think it was an action RPG now I think about it. Really good. Guerrilla War. They changed the names when it came to America. You were actually playing as Che Guerrilla and Fidel Castro originally. And, of course, Akari Warriors, a classic. To answer the question as to who made it, it was Digital Eclipse.
Perfect. I said Digital Legacy. I don't know, just guess.
Digital Eclipse has done a lot of really, really good classic ports. Like, real good classic ports. If I see them working on a collection or a port, I know it's going to be solid.
And there you go. And they put together SNK 40th. So if you are an SNK fan and you don't already own this game, then get it on PS4. Enjoy yourself. We have Chocobo's Mystery Dungeon Everybody for PS4 and Switch. It's not everybody like you would actually spell it, but buddy spelled like, hey, my buddy, my friend, my guy, Buddy. I don't know why. It's a Final Fantasy Fables Chocobo's dungeon game with an enhanced gameplay system. So if you like the Final Fantasy Fables, you can get into this. It'll be a little bit different. If you've never played it before, it's a good place to start. You're in a never-ending dungeon. You make friends with monsters with the new buddy mechanic that they added to this game. And basically, every time you go into a level, things move when Chocobo moves.
Sounds a lot like the gameplay mechanic to Crypt of the Necro Dancer. You take one step, the enemies take a step, or whatever action they're going to do in time with you. So you can just sit there and do nothing and think about what you need to do next.
Yep, which is occasionally a very fun style game. Also coming out this week, Fate Externa Link for PS4, PS Vita, Switch, PC.
I believe it's Fate Extella.
Extella, thanks.
I'm not positive, but I believe that's
I don't
what
read well. This is an anime hack and slash game. So think Muso games and then throw a big sheen of anime on top of it. Fate Extella, I'm assuming, is probably some kind of existing anime or manga that I'm not
there's
aware
a whole
of.
series of Fate. It's like there's like Fate Stay Night. I mean, it's big. It's huge.
Yeah, I'm sure it is. I just don't recognize it, probably because I wouldn't. It looks fun in the same way that all Muso games are, fun. You run around, you hack and slash. History, legend, sci-fi collide in the latest chapter of the Fate Extra saga. It's got 26 characters, and you fight across time, and I don't know what any of this is doing. It looks like a Muso game. Muso games are fun. I play one every 6 years. Now is not that time. And finally, if you've been paying attention to the whole show, I congratulate you, because we tend to ramble. But I mentioned that I've been hating video games for like 2 weeks.
Yeah, you've been bored with them.
I just haven't played anything. I don't care about video games right now. But luckily, I think Friday will fix everything, because Friday is when Sekiro Shadows Die Twice releases for PS4, Xbox One, and PC. This is the new FromSoft game. This is not a Dark Souls game. This is not a Bloodborne game. It is from the same crew. This is a game where you play as a samurai or a shinobi or whatever the hell you want to call it. You're a dude with a sword. It's got more RPG mechanics in that you actually level up and get skills. It looks like you keep the same weapon, but you have a mechanical arm that you can swap out with different pieces. All that one character in Devil May Cry.
Nero.
Nero. Yeah, thanks. This is the only game I give a shit about. I will be picking this game up on Friday. I have not pre-ordered it because fuck that. And
hey, it could be bad.
Yeah.
As far as I know, they held off on review copies on this until either just recently or still no one has it. I'm not positive on that. And hey, this game could be garbage.
But there's a bunch of people that have played like a few hours of it, and the biggest takeaway is that if you go into it playing it like Dark Souls. Also, if you have no idea, I fucking love Dark Souls. It's like one of my favorite games of all times. If you go in playing like a Dark Souls pro, you'll probably get your ass kicked because they changed it up enough that if you just treat it like Dark Souls, it doesn't work. And I'm very excited to relearn that style of game. And those slow, methodic, I need to think about what I'm doing games is always fun. This adds tons of verticality. You have a grappling hook, you can climb walls, and most important, you can swim.
I had to add a little bit of internet connection problems there, it looks like. But you finished it up saying a whole bunch of cool stuff happened, and then you could swim as well. So, yeah, Sekiro Shadows Die Twice looks amazing.
I can't wait.
I know, I can feel it coming. I'm going to see headlines along the lines of like the Dark Souls of Tenchu games or the Dark Souls of Neo, which is goddamn stupid because Neo is already that kind of stuff. I can see the Dark Souls of fucking headlines writing themselves already, and it doesn't.
I feel like they don't need to say that at all because it's some of the same fucking crew.
No, that means they're going to say it even harder.
Team is at it again.
That means they're going to say it even harder because you need that search engine optimization, baby.
Well, luckily I don't read those publications because I don't read.
I don't read so good.
I don't read the news. I am the news.
And with that, with that statement, that brings us to the end of the show. And this has been GamePoints episode 161. Thank you all for showing up. Vince Nitro, Coke for Tacos, everyone else happens to be lurking at the moment. I do appreciate your business and your company and you just hanging out and being part of the conversation. If you also want to join the community, you can tune in live every Monday at Twitch TV/GamePoints at 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, except for today And next week, we're doing those on Tuesday. But normally, Mondays, 8 p.m., here at Twitch TV/GamePoints. If you can't join us live, however, feel free to go to our YouTube page. That's youtube.com/GamePointsPC. And you can find all the old shows there, including this one, as well as relevant links and information and all that good stuff, and the occasional Let's Play or review from myself. If you want to be part of the greater GamePoints community, you can join our Discord server down below, regardless if you're watching us at Twitch or YouTube. It should be below somewhere. You can follow the show on Twitter at GamePointsPC. You can follow myself, Stephen Brown, at CapitalistPig21. And you can follow David there at _Satori. Until next time, thank you all for watching, and we're out of here.